straight, man. Stand right east. 800, stand right. We coming on that forward in just a second. Once you're ready, take a good look. Hammond, Iowa. Outside the 77 car. Track champion in Richard City, Iowa. The 99D of Gerald DeFrance. 2 track championships. Second time at Marshalltown, Iowa. Outside the 11 car. attendance, Iowa's Kurt Martin, car number 35, J&J Steel, IMCA, summer touring race there tonight. I don't know what Jay got. Jay pulled up. We both haven't had very good luck the last few races. And I told Jay earlier, we just race every race and maybe with Monday, that's all I wanted to go to the GNF. I just like to keep racing. I told him I want to go steady the rest of the year. Yeah, I guess it did help, but that's not the way you want it. That's a sportsman. And that's, did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? That's what a true sportsman is right there. Come on, one more time. When your J&J Summer Series Special. Thank you. We'll have a go four abreast, I hope. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here you go. We're coming at you. The four abreast. Woo! Okay. Stand up. Here they go. Four abreast. Stand up. Raise your hands. Come on.
Welcome, race fans, to another edition of Trackside. Today we're going to be talking to Lynn Richards from Mount Pleasant, Iowa, with Richard Realty. He drives a number 15 late model at 34 Raceway, and he's going to be preparing for the J&J Steel. We're going to talk to him about how it feels to field a two-car team this year. Lynn hasn't been racing for quite some time. We're going to talk to him a little bit about that. Also, we'd like to, the staff of Trackside and KJMH TV would like to dedicate this particular show to the staff and crew of ISP in Fort Madison, Iowa. We've been having a lot of good comments from the folks down there at ISP, and we really appreciate it. Also, this show is being aired. We'll have the results of the J&J Steel next week, and the following show, we'll talk to you a little bit about the sprint car show, Spectacular, at the final race at 34 Raceway. We've really appreciated all the comments that have been coming in from Trackside. And once again, the place to write that is Trackside, Post Office Box 18, Middletown, Iowa, 52638. We welcome your suggestions. Next week, we're also going to show you some of the people behind the scenes at 34 Raceway and what's involved in the promoter's side of it and getting the track ready, getting all the help hired, preparing all the concessions, and all the things that go on the track. So we're looking forward to that. And now we're going to talk to Lynn a little bit, and we'll be right back. Thank you.
Ron and Sue Pallister wish to extend a warm invitation to you and your family to come out to 34 Raceway and experience some of the finest automobile racing in Southeast Iowa. You will see many classes of car racing, such as modified, hobby stock, sportsman, and many, many more. At 34 Raceway, you will have a night of non-stop action and excitement. So drive on out to 34 Raceway and enjoy an evening of good times. It's located just 10 miles west of downtown Burlington.
Race over to Olsen Brothers to take care of all your racing and automotive needs. They can do machine work on anything from lawnmowers to diesel engines. Olsen Brothers Custom Shop carries aftermarket parts from stocks to high performance. If you need your engine rebuilt, Olsen Brothers can do the job. Conrad, Phil, Brad, and Kyle build one of the best racing engines in the Midwest. You're sure to be a winner in an Olsen Brothers prepared engine. Just ask Dave Campbell, Steve Watts, or Ron Jackson, who won the J&J Summer Series race at Columbus Junction in an Olsen Brothers engine. Be a winner at Olsen Brothers Custom Shop, 1202 Pond Street in Burlington.
Hey race fans, come out to BRS Circle Track Mart to find everything you need for your car. BRS Circle Track Mart specializes in all forms of race car parts, including hobby stock, pro stock, late model, and modified sportsman. Bill Schubert, owner of BRS Circle Track Mart, is happy to help you dress up your car, truck, or tow vehicle with his appliance and Keystone Mag wheels. While you're at the races, stop in at BRS Circle Track Mart to get the items you need. When you love to race, the place is BRS Circle Track Mart, located at 500 English Street in Burlington.
Welcome, race fans, to another edition of Trackside. Today we've got Lynn Richards in the late model division at 34 Raceway, number 15, Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Glad to have you on the show, Lynn.
Pleased to be here.
Today we're going to talk about Lynn's racing out here at 34. You've been absent from racing a little bit. Lynn, how long has it been since you actually strapped into the car?
Last time I drove was in 1979.
This year, ladies and gentlemen, he's been doing real good. He's got a brand new Shaw car, I believe.
Yeah, brand new Larry Shaw car, and we've had a year that we're very pleased with. We've not tore anything up to speak of, and just trying to keep our nose clean and have some fun.
Well, you've been real consistent out here, Lynn, and I know that you've been here just about every week, and you've been racing at Donaldson a little bit, and I've seen you at Columbus Junction earlier in the year. What overall, how do you think you've done?
Well, one always hates to brag about himself, but I guess if you go home every night and your car's in one piece and the motor hasn't blown up, you try to stay ahead of the game because, as everybody knows, there's not a lot of money in owning or in driving a car, and we're here for the enjoyment of it. So overall, I would say we're very pleased.
Well, I've watched the race out here, Lynn, this year, and you've done an excellent job. You've raced with a lot of the guys out here, and you've run some of the J&J series, and one of the things that I'm really impressed with this year, Lynn, is the way that the car has really been working for you. Do you attribute that to just coming back and really putting your efforts in the car racing itself, or just the car itself?
Well, there's a lot of things that add up to that. First of all, I think it probably starts back 2 years ago when we bought Johnny Johnson's car and put Jerry Pilcher in the car last year and raced at Eldon. Did a lot of learning from Jerry Pilcher on how to drive. Johnny spent a lot of time with us when we bought the car and how to set up a car. And then this year, Ron Jackson came up last winter, and taught us some of the things that he's learned over the many years he's been here. And it takes a combination to make a car go and to make it go fast every week, along with maintenance every week that you have to do to keep a car going.
And we've talked to a lot of the other racers, and they're saying the same thing that you are, Lynn, that it's a pretty big effort to keep these cars going week after week after week. And we do have a long season out here at 34 Raceway. Now, you've got Jerry Pilcher, I believe, running in your car, and you've purchased another car, and you're doing a two-car team. How has that affected everything?
That's not been a real good situation. We've learned that, along with our real estate and auction business, that we just don't have the time to keep two cars in the proper condition they need to be when they come to the racetrack. So I believe the fans have seen a two-car team out of us for the last time. Right now we have somebody looking at the other car to buy it, and we're going to go back to one team and take care of the car the way it needs to be taken care of.
Would you agree then that, and I think you'll see that in a lot of the racing, drag racing, boat racing, go-karts, that the guy that does field a two-car team, I think it takes a little bit of the effort away from the main team or the house car, that you lose some of that interest and you don't really dedicate all your time to one car. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I think that's definitely true. And along with the people that are helping us, we have a crew that's been with us all year long, and the enthusiasm's been good. And as soon as we had two cars, it kind of split that up, that you only got to spend half as much time on the car as you should have been spending. And it shows up. You can get by with it for a week or two, but pretty soon that bolt you forgot to tighten didn't get tightened, and it costs you a race.
Well, I know that just watching you out here in the last couple of weeks that it has shown a little bit. Excuse me, and I think, and that's no negative towards you. I think that when you spread yourself thin like that, it shows in your race car team.
It's you know, I agree with you. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I tried it, and it was a mistake.
Well, I don't know if it's a mistake as much as it just, you know, for lack of better words, it's just sometimes it's not feasible to do that. I don't know if it's just local racing or even on the big circuits. It's just sometimes not feasible.
Yeah,
Lynn, we talked a little bit before the show aired that some of the highlights of your racing out here at 34 this year, and what could you tell the fans out there what was your biggest highlight of the season out here at 34?
Oh, there isn't any question about what my biggest highlight of the year is. It would be the night that the NASCAR people were here, the night that Ernie Irvan drove our car. It isn't every day that you get to associate with the kind of people that you see on TV. He drove our car and did an excellent job in it, finished second in the NASCAR part of it, and when I took over, I was able to pass that Top Gun car, which really tickled me pretty good. You know, it was just a fun night all the way around for me.
Well, I know I had a lot of fun, and I think the fans that were out here really enjoyed it. Those guys put on a heck of a race. I called part of the race along with Al Sandberg, and at one time you could have threw a blanket over the top 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, I think that you couldn't go anywhere as far as seeing the caliber of cars that were here and the caliber of people that were driving those cars. It was just an excellent show to watch.
And one of the things that really impressed me too, Lynn, is everybody, including Ron's Top Gun car that Teddy drives, and you and Johnny, they all went out and had their cars new metal and new paint just for this show.
Well, that's one of the things that I like to do in the pride of owning a car. We try to make it look as good as we can. Every night we come, that's a little difficult to do sometimes, especially late in the year. A guy hates to buy a new body just to put on when there's 2 or 3 shows left. But we do like to try to make our car look good for our sponsors and look good for ourselves and try to represent ourselves in the best way we can.
And it takes people like you to do that, and we really appreciate that at 34. What's some other highlights? I know that was one of the biggest ones. I had a lot of fun. I know you had a lot of fun. We joked around about that a lot. But what's some other? I know you've won some features out here, and you've run your tail off out here this year.
Well, I guess the other highlight perhaps wouldn't have been here. It would have been when we did get our first feature win at Lee County Speedway, which we weren't sure we'd get a feature this year, but the car has just performed flawlessly, and when we won that first feature, it was exciting for me because I had never won a late models feature in all the years that I had driven. We'd won several when Jerry Pilcher drove for us last year, but to get that first one for yourself meant quite a bit to us.
It does mean quite a bit, and I know that you've got a lot of sponsors on your car. Maybe you'd like to mention a couple of them?
Well, I think it's important that people remember that without sponsors, it would be very difficult for anybody to field a top quality late model car. And Boyer Machine Works in Mount Pleasant has been building our motors for us this year and has been doing an excellent job with them. Home Furniture at Mount Pleasant has helped us out now for 2 or 3 years, and we're proud to have them there.
There's something here on this shirt.
Well, and my wife, yes, she participates in our operation along with KILJ Radio. So that's not all the sponsors on the car, but that's the major ones, and we sure appreciate having each and every one of them on board, and several of them have indicated they'd like to be back with us next year.
They're all important.
They're very important.
And I think that's a consensus of most of the drivers that we've had on trackside this year, that without the sponsorship of all the merchants and the radio stations and the newspapers and the Pepsi-Cola people and Pizza Hut people and everybody, Budweiser and all, it would be pretty hard for a guy just any caliber to come out here and race a late model.
Oh, I think that's true, and it does take a lot of money. Unfortunately, the purses aren't as high as what they ought to be, but hopefully that can be fixed for next year, and we can all make some money at this maybe.
Lynn, you've been racing a lot of years. You've raced all over the Midwest here, and when you leave Mount Pleasant and travel down here every week, and you know that there's a possibility you might break, you might blow a motor, somebody might hit you, what goes through your mind? I mean, you come down here wanting to win every time, or I know everybody wants to win, but what actually enters your mind when you load the car on the trailer, you put your crew in the truck and you head down here?
Well, I don't think there's ever been a time in all the times I've ever gone racing that when we loaded the car on the trailer that we were going to go win the race. And if we didn't think we were going to go win the race, we just unloaded, because every racer believes in his mind, if he's a real racer, that he's going to win. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that doesn't always come true. And but I still think you have that intention when you leave home and that desire to win.
Now, a lot of times, I know I saw you blow a motor, I believe, at Donaldson 2 or 3 weeks ago. Do you just go back to the car and kind of close the door, turn the air conditioner on, take the suit off, and say, well, there goes X amount of dollars, or do you just forget about it?
Well, you generally forget about it by Monday morning, but you're right. It does cost a lot of money to build motors, and it does cost a lot of money, like we talked earlier, to keep cars going. But I think it's important that, again, when we talked about sponsors earlier, how important they are to us, especially in our real estate and auction business. We have the opportunity to, every time we sell a house, we hand out a free pass, courtesy of 34 Raceway, to those people that they can come down and see our car perform along with the other cars perform. We're grateful that 34 Raceway gives us that opportunity, and a lot of times those people have become part of our fan club, or whatever you want to call it, that they come back and see us again on occasion. There's been a lot of times that we've had auctions because people have seen the advertising on our car, that know we do auctions. We've sold several homes and farms from people that have seen the advertising on our car and know that we do race, and have come in to see us, and that we didn't know before, that came in because they've seen the advertising on the car. So in our situation, it makes it a little bit easier when you do blow that motor, that you can say, well, I did get some good out of this in advertising, and hopefully it's not a big money maker by any means, but it does enable us to keep racing, enables us to make some money, and do what we enjoy doing, along with our regular business of selling real estate and doing auctioneering.
Well,